Most people think investing is only for people with money. They think you need thousands of dollars, a fancy financial advisor, or a secret formula that only wealthy people understand. But every week I meet someone in their 40s or 50s who says the same thing. I wish I had started sooner. And what hurts the most is this. Many of them had enough money to start years ago. They just didn't know it. If you have $100, you have enough to begin changing your financial future. But that's not the most important part. My name is Rudy, and I've spent years helping ordinary people learn how money really works. I wasn't born rich. I didn't grow up with investment accounts or financial advisors. I learned through mistakes, expensive mistakes. And some of the lessons I learned came from watching hardworking people around me who never realized how powerful small amounts of money could become. I remember being 23 years old and sitting in my truck after work. I had exactly $112 left in my checking account. I thought investing was something rich people did, so I spent that money on things that disappeared within a few days. Fast food, gadgets, things I can't even remember. What happened next shocked me years later. 10 years later, I did the math. If I had invested just $100 and kept adding small amounts, I would have had thousands more than I actually did. That realization hit me like a brick. I wasn't broke because I didn't earn enough. I was broke because nobody taught me what to do with the little money I had. And here's the hidden secret that modern people don't hear anymore. Investing isn't about having a lot of money. It's about starting before you feel ready. Nobody talks about this anymore because entire industries make money when people stay confused. They want you to believe investing is complicated. They want you to think you need an expert for everything. The truth is much simpler. $100 can buy something more valuable than almost anything else in the world. Time. Because time allows your money to work for you while you're sleeping, while you're at work, and while you're spending time with your family. But that's not the most important part. A few years ago, my neighbor Tom stopped me while I was mowing the lawn. He said, "Rudy, I only have $100. Is it even worth investing?" I asked him one question. "Do you think a tiny apple seed is worthless because it isn't a tree yet?" He smiled. He understood immediately. That little conversation changed Tom's life. He started investing $100, then $20 every week, then $50 every payday. A few years later, he told me something I'll never forget. He said, "I finally feel like my money is working for me instead of disappearing." What happened next shocked even him. He had accumulated several $1,000s, not because he got lucky, not because he found some secret stock. He simply started small and stayed consistent. That's the part people miss. They chase big wins and ignore small beginnings. Nobody talks about this anymore. So, how do you start investing with just $100? First, do your research and find an established low-cost brokerage with a good track record. Second, open an account with them. It takes less time than ordering dinner online. Third, choose a simple index fund. That's just a fund that holds stock in many different companies. Instead of betting on one horse, you're buying a little piece of the whole race. Then put your $100 into that investment and leave it alone. This is where most people struggle. They invest today and expect to be rich next month. That isn't investing, that's wishing. Real investing is planting seeds and giving them time to grow. But that's not the most important part. The most important part is what happens after the first $100. Set up an automatic transfer to your investment fund. Maybe $20 a week. Maybe $50 every paycheck. The amount matters far less than the habit, because habits build wealth long before big paychecks do. I learned this lesson from my grandfather. He didn't call it investing, he called it planting for next season. Every year he saved seeds from his garden, tiny things that looked insignificant. Yet every spring they became something valuable. Money works the same way. Little decisions become big outcomes. Now let me tell you about another mistake I made. Years ago, when I first started investing, I checked the account every single day. If it went down, I panicked. If it went up, I celebrated. I was treating investing like a slot machine. And that's exactly what keeps many people from building wealth. The market moves up and down. That's normal. Trees don't grow every minute of every day either. The people who usually win are the people who stay patient, and patience isn't exciting, which is why so few people practice it. Another mistake is waiting until you have more money. I've heard people say, "I'll start investing when I have $1,000. Then they say they'll start when they have 5,000. Years pass, nothing changes, the perfect moment never arrives. You start with what you have, you start where you are. Here's something I want you to remember. $100 isn't important because of its size. It's important because it changes your identity. The moment you invest your first dollar, you stop being someone who only spends money. You become someone who owns assets. That's a completely different way of thinking. And it changes everything. If I could sit down with my younger self in that old pickup truck, I'd tell him this: don't wait, don't overthink it. Don't believe investing is only for rich people. Start with your first $100, then let consistency do what excitement never can. Because years from now, you won't regret starting with a small amount. You'll regret waiting. The greatest financial lesson I ever learned is simple. Small beginnings create big futures. A seed becomes a tree. A dollar becomes an investment. An investment becomes freedom. And freedom starts with a decision that almost anyone can make today, even if all you have is $100. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to Rudy's Money Tips. Download our free budget planner, link in description below, and we'll see you in the next video.